because I don't own a printer. So you will pardon me. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I invite you to take a moment to reflect on this holiday time. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, winter solstice, and New Year's, there are many opportunities for celebration and reflection. Gratitude at Thanksgiving gives ways to thinking about giving to others and celebrating the return of the sun. The birth of a saint gives way to celebrating the new calendar year. Think about what are your expectations for this full holiday time. What do you hope for? I would like you to recall one moment of joy from this season, either from this year or last year. Those of us who were here last night and heard Miranda, that's easy peasy. Because man, her voice was just like, it was divine. And I can take that moment and remember it. Something like that. If it helps, you can lower your eyes or close your eyes and let the pictures flash across your mental screen. Feel whatever you feel. When you see those pictures, notice where you are, who you're with. Now I want you to go back a decade. 2014. Can you recall a moment of joy, peace, love, hope? Who were you with? Where were you? What were you doing in your life at that time? In this moment of recall, practice allowing and acceptance. And now if you closed your eyes, you may open them. So what you've just experienced is a process called resourcing. Put another way, it's the best to first focus on the positive, to elicit a higher vibration than what might be brought up next. Another way to do resourcing is via physical items or rituals. Some of us believe in the emotive power of rocks and crystals. Whether or not you do, I would like you to try and experiment. And I have two folks who are going to help me here. These are Apache tears.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to ask.
Yes, I am. This is the time.
This is the time.
One of you on one side, one of you on the other. Please take a rock, anyone that tickles your fancy. And because the little thing is a little heavy, I'm just going to have them pass them around. Don't want rocks going under the So Apache tears are also called obsidianite or Americanite, and it's a rare black variety that crystallized as a small indented stone. It was produced when water was absorbed during the cooling of a lava field. It is volcanic, somewhat spherical, and can become translucent when held up to the light, but I think that would require more tumbling. These are rather rough, as you'll see. But they have some glints on them, some pores in that. They're very interesting stones. According to a legend, the Apache tribe women mourned day and night for nearly a month after learning that they had lost their dads, husbands, and kids in a horrible fashion. Their tears produced the stones known as Apache tears, and when they fell to the ground, they were the result. And the legend has it that anyone who owns or carries a portion of this stone will never have to grieve again, because the Apache women shed enough tears for all who mourn. So, when you need consolation or are in mourning, this is an excellent stone to use. You don't have to believe in it. You just have to carry it around. Put it in a pot, flower pot, in your house. Give it to a friend. I imagine there are some left over. You're welcome to take more than one. This stone establishes a strong connection between your root chakra and Mother Earth, offering a steady, anchoring energy. Negative energy is absorbed, and your energy field is protected. It is said to aid forgiveness, spontaneity, and the dispelling of self-limiting beliefs. It's beneficial to one's emotions and emotional equilibrium. It encourages you to cry in times of sadness, especially repressed tears, and it soothes grief. This is why I'm offering it to you. Its vibration is milder than other black obsidian varieties. I have to tell you that I cleaned these with water, and I put them out in the last full moon. And when I picked up one stone, whoo, it like had sparkles in my hand. So it was interesting. That full moon was a really powerful one. The Apache tears have an affinity with the heart chakra, providing gentle emotional healing, removing harmful vibrations and imbalances from the heart chakra. Although not a birthstone, it is associated with the sun sign of Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. And you can wear Apache tear jewelry to emphasize your talents as a Sagittarius, such as your conversational ability or optimism and enjoyment of fun. Put it in your pocket when you go to a holiday party, see what transpires. Experiment, and I offer it to you for that. So the reason we're doing this resourcing exercise is because my topic today is grieving through the holidays. And I thought, this is really not a happy topic, you know? So then I thought about how it was for me 11 years ago when my mom was transitioning. It was exactly at this time of year, within a couple of days, that my mother made her transition to the spirit world. If she had lived another 18 days, she would have been 90 years old. She was moved from her apartment in the retirement community where she lived in Pennsylvania to the medical section in August of 2013. She could no longer stand or take care of herself. I had months to prepare for her passing. I was living in Casadega, and one morning in meditation, I was giving the feeling thought that she would pass before the year was out. My brother and sister didn't think that she would. They called her the Energizer Bunny, and they had good reason to believe what was right in front of them. Mom had successfully navigated polio, time in an iron lung, serious illnesses throughout her life, and won the previous year. Were they in denial? No. They simply relied on external evidence. I, however, relied a little bit shakily on my spirit connection. It is my practice to meditate, or try to, every morning. Some years are better than others. Some months are better than others. Some days are better than others. During the months preceding her passing, I often cried in morning meditation as I remembered moments of our lives together and felt love for her. As I sat one morning ruminating on our life together, in anticipatory grief, I received a spirit message. And this is from a book I wrote, which is in the library, bookstore. This is the spirit message. When she sleeps, rejoice, for she is visiting those she loves both here and in the spirit world. When she refuses to eat, rejoice, for she is eating in spirit. When she talks about her life out of sequence and out of reality, rejoice, for it is as though she is folding a piece of cloth that will go with her to spirit. I knew this was not from my mind, even though it sounded like my mind, because I only used the word rejoice when singing Christmas carols. Rejoicing while someone was in the process of dying seemed a radical perspective. Grief is normal. Feelings are normal. When we experience loss, we have to navigate it. We pretty much don't have a choice. And if there are significant stressors present in our lives with our work or family members or friends or whatever's going on, we might have an unfinished grieving process in the moment or from the past. This can complicate things. So some of you, I'm sure, remember Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Yes? Good. I see some heads nodding. Good. Right? So she created the 5 stages of death and dying. Denial, bargaining, anger, depression, and acceptance. However, the intervening years, and it's been a few, 60, 70 years, more research has been done on the dying process. Not everyone goes through those 5 emotions or experiences those 5 processes. Somehow her work became conflated with anyone who's going through the grieving process. But new research has proven that there are tasks that must be gone through, but not those 5. I mean, you can go through those 5, and you don't have to go through them in that order. So now, the newest information, of course this comes from psychotherapy, is the 4 R's, the tasks of grieving a loss. Number 1, accepting the reality of the loss, keeping some routines, changing others. You just accept, yep, this is the process of life, and I accept it. You might be angry. That would be normal sometimes. Number 2, having a relationship with the person or thing you lost through remembrance. How are you going to incorporate that person that isn't there anymore into your ongoing life? Now, we're spiritualists. They come in all the time. A lot of us have experienced this, right? So we're lucky. They come say hi all the time. The relationship is no longer dependent on their physical presence. For example, when my niece passed away when she was about 22, her family, my brother's family, kept pictures of her all over the house, on the refrigerator and all over. They also created a golf tournament in her name. It kept them very busy for 2 years. And then they're like, whew, it's too much work. So they stopped. But still, it was a way to process the loss. 3, restoration, giving yourself time to grieve. Re-identification, adjusting your relationship role to accommodate the loss. Processing the pain of the grief. You have to give yourself time. Now in psychotherapy, it's really a wide range. And pretty much up to a year, you're not considered to have a clinically significant grief processing disorder. After a year, it might be looked at if you're like not going to work, not getting up, and you're truly depressed, right? That's different. Okay. But when you're grieving, you're grieving. But eventually, at some point, to complete the process of grief, you have to reinvest in life. That's a 4th R, reinvest. You have to live life fully as it is now, finding a new connection with the deceased and moving on with life. And when all these tasks have been accomplished, you move into what psychotherapists call integrated grief. These tasks and processes take about a year, which depends greatly on how close the relationship was to you and how important their life was in your life. Right? And I was meditating, I think it was last week, and I got the really strong feeling, and maybe some words I can't remember exactly, but I got the impression that sadness is a form of love. Grief is a form of love. And as much as you love someone, that is probably as much as you're going to grieve. Right? And what needs to happen, though, is the integration of that loss and not staying there. So, when a friend is grieving, don't be afraid to check on them. Ask what they need or feel up for, allowing them to do things differently if needed. Respect their boundaries to a point. Honor their wishes to be alone within reason, and watch for isolation and withdrawal. Because as I said, if someone allows themselves to go really deep down and doesn't go to work, doesn't take care of themselves, that's a problem. It needs to be addressed. I would also add that we can pray for them and put them on our prayer list, bring them here, the Spirit may come through for them. That would be awesome. And I lifted this from Psychology Today. I'll give them credit. During the holidays, for one who is grieving a loss, it is okay to either forego tradition or continue comforting traditions. For example, if the turkey dinner brings up too much feeling, make pasta or get Chinese or Thai. If you need to attend a party, make an exit plan. Talk to someone, a therapist will do. Journaling is good. Take care of yourself. Read books, watch movies, eat well, walk, get a massage, sleep. Notice I did not say drink. It's not going to help. Drop expectations of yourself and others. You are allowed to have a good time and feel joy while you are grieving. And, you know, I thought about last night, which for those of us who were here was fabulous. And it's wonderful to go to events like that, whether they're here at our church or someplace else, to get that upliftment, to get that joy of the season. Right? So, I offer you those, and that is all.